Okay. Would you rather print or email a teacher your work?
Personally, I would prefer email. A lot of things can go wrong with a printed version. You can leave it at home. Your dog can eat it. No, I'm just kidding. It's usually an excuse. But a lot of things can go wrong with a printed work, and I know that for my memory's sake, I'm terrible with memory. I'll leave it everywhere. If I manage to remember to actually bring it into my car, I'll leave it in my car, and a bunch of things happen to it. I'm very unorganized at times, so I can really crumble it up and think it's maybe a statement from a bank or something, or just I don't know. It's just a bunch of things I feel like can go wrong with a printed version of your homework. Unless you're really organized and if it works for you, then I'm all for it. If you're able to keep it in a nice folder, keep it from getting bent, wrinkled, ripped, destroyed, anything like that, burned, water damage, all that type of stuff. If you're able to keep it out of harm's way, then that's more power to you. I personally prefer the quick and easy digital way of emailing.
How do you feel about students having to pay to print at New England Tech?
I don't think there's a reason to really pay to print. But it's probably maybe a couple cents a page. Honestly, how much is really like a stack of paper or anything like that? I personally don't agree with having to pay to print. I believe that there is a lot of money that goes into education there in itself. I feel like it's some people actually view it as a very expensive school in itself anyway. So that should come along with it. It's not anything that should come extra. It's not like buying food where it's a separate contractor or anything like that. It's paper. So charging per page I feel like makes absolutely no sense. And for the charging cost, if it was implemented because someone might have been printing out 150 pages, 200 pages, 300 pages, I think there should even be like a set limit on how much you can print so that it can avoid any other costs. If you need to print a 15-page Google search or something like that, try to get somebody's approval. They'll take a look at it, and so that you're not necessarily printing out an entire textbook. I feel like that would be a lot easier and just easier on the students, because it makes absolutely no sense to me that you would have to pay for your work on paper, when I feel like it should just be complimentary. It should be one of those things that comes along with it, with all the money that we put into tuition and books and everything like that. We've already have enough to pay for and everything like that, let alone costs for a page.
Do you think New England Tech is making people pay so they can make more money when they print?
I feel as though, I guess I can see where that question will come from, because it's a couple cents a page. I wouldn't say it's going towards New England Tech. I would think it's mainly just to kind of reimburse themselves from using so much paper. But either way, there should be better budgeting so that you can allow the cost that students are paying to go towards things like buying paper and other costs. I feel like those costs can be made up elsewhere rather than raising a print per page. It's not like you're going to a community library where you're a free member and you go and print per page. You're already paying thousands upon thousands of dollars to literally walk into a building, earn your degree, and leave. You pay thousands of dollars for another sheet of paper. Why should you have to pay another 10 cents for another thing? I personally think that I guess you could say, yeah, I would definitely say that they're probably just doing it for the money, and they probably trying to look to see what else they can charge. I wouldn't expect the next thing is going to be 25 cents for water fountain drink or something like that.
What was your reaction when you were told students had to pay to print out work?
I was very upset. It was actually with a friend of mine whom I was attending the school with. When we found out, I was one of the classes that were transitioned into the new building about mid my midterm of going there, I spent half of my term at the old Post Road campus, and going to the new campus when they started charging per page, I was completely livid. I was, you want to just start that one over?
Yeah.
All right.
This is all just going through. Should I stop it?
No, that's fine.
Right. Let me just turn this off. You want me to read the question again? Are you good?
No, that's fine. I just my reaction. Okay. I was very upset when I found out I had to start paying for per page. I had already I was already over my head in loans and everything like that, and having to pay monthly tuition on top of everything like that. I know it's only a couple of cents a page, but it's just one more thing you have to worry about when you need to print something out, especially if you don't have access to a printer at home or locally. I know it's understandable, it's 2014, who doesn't have a printer? However, that's not a way to think. It's all in a matter of in the details. There's a lot of stress that goes along with going to college, and I feel like that adding on that 10 cent per page or 20 cent per page rule, I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. If going from the old campus we didn't have to pay going into the new one, there's no reason to have to implement that rule, especially with a class that we're transitioned from having that to be complimentary to automatically just having to pay for a piece of paper with some words on it. I was extremely upset.
At your time at New England Tech, did most of your teachers have you email or print your work to them?
I guess it was kind of like a mixed bag. A lot of the teachers who were used to doing things, I guess you could say the old school way, or they would prefer you print it out, especially if it was a report. I know for a lot of the English classes, they would want you to actually print out your work. I know for a small business, I had to print out my work. But for a lot of the digital courses, a lot of the instructors would have me email a lot of my work. For storyboarding, of course, you got to actually draw it out and hand in the storyboard. And I know for a lot of the synopses and all of the actual data that we did have to type out, I would say it's about half and half. I would have preferred to have emailed almost everything. Obviously aside from storyboards, I preferably would have liked to email everything, but I would say it's about half and half depending on the course and depending on the instructor as well.